Hello friends, it's Lisa and welcome to the start of a new vlog. I have some fun and exciting things happening over the next week and a half, so I thought I would just start a vlog and be able to document some of that. I'm going to attempt to start making myself presentable while we chat, which never really goes well for me. I'm definitely not very good at multitasking, but we're gonna try our best. I also just thought I saw a bug, so if you just saw fear in my eyes, that's why. But it is currently Friday, May 26th, and I'm currently just getting myself ready because I think we're gonna be going out to dinner tonight with my Nana. It's kind of become a tradition to go out with her for dinner every Friday night, so I think that's gonna be happening and want to get myself a little bit more presentable. But yeah, some of the exciting things that I have happening. Tomorrow am going to see Tomlinson in concert. This was kind of a last minute sort of thing. I only found out like a couple days ago that I was going because my friend had a ticket that wasn't being used, so I get the benefits. It does keep working out well for me that I keep having a friend who keeps buying tickets for other people who can't make it to these shows, and then I get to go. Obviously, I'm going with the friend who has the tickets, but I think one of my other friends is also going, and I'm sure that there's going to be a group of people there that are like friends of my friends, so I think it's going to be a really good time. I think there's probably going to be some similar faces to who went to like the Louis show last year that I went to, so I think that'll be really fun. So yeah, that's happening tomorrow, and then next weekend, I'm going to Bar Harbor, or Bahaba, if you say it correctly. I'm going next weekend with my parents and my sister and her husband. This was kind of a birthday, Mother's Day gift for my mom, and we're going next weekend. And I think that that will be also really fun, and I'm very excited. I've never been there before. I've always wanted to go, or I've wanted to go for a very long time, so I'm really excited to be finally going, and I think it's just going to be a really fun weekend. So yeah, I have some kind of fun things happening in my life over the next kind of week or so, and I don't feel like that typically is happening. So I figured it's a good opportunity to do some vlogging, and in between all of those things, we'll be doing what we typically do in my vlogs, aka reading and lots of cat content. I'm actually not currently reading anything right now. I finished my most recent read, which, can she remember the title? I've been struggling to remember it the whole time I've been reading it. I think it's The Last Tale of the Flower Bride, I think, by Rajani Toksky. And I finished that a couple days ago, and once again, gave it 3 stars. I feel like lately I've just been not in the biggest mood to read. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that everything I've been reading recently has been 3 stars, other than Happy Place and Crying in H Mart, which I read a couple weeks ago now. But everything else, I've given 3 stars. A lot of my reads recently have been very average, fine, meh, not really loving anything. And, that does get a bit discouraging. I also just in general think I've been in a bit of a reading slump. I feel like I just haven't been wanting to pick up books to read, which is fine. Everyone has hobbies, and everyone, has moments where they're not as into their hobby or want to take a break from their hobby in other moments. So I think it's very normal, and this year I really wanted to allow myself to take breaks from reading if I wasn't feeling like reading. So that's, I think, that's happening right now. I'm in one of those moods, but I'm hoping that the next book I pick up not only is higher than 3 stars and I actually enjoy it, but it kind of gets me out of that reading slump. I think the book that I'm going to pick up next is what is it called? Part of Your World, I think, by Abby Jimenez. I feel like everyone is obsessed with this book and with this author recently. I think they just had another book come out. I think it's called Yours Truly or something like that, and I feel like I have not heard a single bad thing about either of these books. And I think as someone who's been struggling to find some good reads this year and has also just not been in the biggest mood to read, I want to find something that I really enjoy and gets me in that reading mood again. So I think this is going to be what I'm picking up throughout this vlog. I probably will read some other things as well because, the drive to and from Bar Harbor is quite a journey from where I live. So, I mean, it's not too bad, but it is going to be a good amount of hours in the car. So I'm sure I'm going to have some time to read if I don't get too car sick. So yeah, we'll see what else I end up reading. But I think the first thing I'm going to be picking up is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. And I'm excited. I'm excited to read it. Like I was saying, I feel like I've never heard anyone say anything bad about this book. So I'm really excited to try it out. Anyway, I think that's it. I think that that's the haps for the week. I'm going to finish getting ready, and then yeah, we'll just see where the rest of this week goes, what I end up reading, doing other than the concert and Bar Harbor. But I'm very excited to share a bit of these things with you all, and yeah, all right. I'm gonna finish my makeup so that it actually gets done, because the whole talking and doing makeup thing makes it very difficult for me.
time. Saturdays take the pain away. Nobody stays the same. No matter how much you want it, some things change.
Well, hey, it's Tuesday. I started this vlog and then just like completely forgot about it. But let me just catch you up on I think I've vlogged some things, but also I know some things I haven't. But Friday night we didn't end up going out to dinner, so I think I just kind of chilled at home. I did some reading, and then Saturday was the night of the Louis Tomlinson concert, which was really, really fun. I'm sure I included some clips from the show. Also, if you can hear like my voice, it might sound okay, but like I think I'm losing my voice from all of the concerts and the screaming that's been happening over the past couple of weeks. So that's fun. But yeah, that concert was really, really great. It was a really fun day. We got to the venue, we met up with some friends, just kind of hung out in the parking lot, had some drinks, and then we kind of moseyed our way into the venue, and we ended up like, we were hanging out, and then we went, okay, like Louis probably gonna be coming on soon, like let's go to where we need to be standing, because we had pit seats. So we were like, it's really not like a huge pit, we'll get there when we get there. We go in, we file in, we get to our spot, we're chit-chatting, and then at one point me and my friend, we kind of like look at the stage and then look at each other and we're like, he's gonna be right there. Like, I don't think nothing was processed. Neither of us realized that he was going to be so close. So that was really fun, and like I don't think I've ever been so close to a member of One Direction before. It was wild. And there's like a specific song that he sings Saturdays when he like comes over to the side of the stage that we were on, so he was literally like directly in front of me, and I'm like, how is this happening? But yeah, the show was really, really great. So much fun. And then on Sunday, we ended up taking like a nice coastal drive just to go and get some lunch and just do something during the nice weather. It was such a nice day on Sunday. It was really warm, but it wasn't really humid. So it was just like such a nice day. So we took a nice drive by the beach and went and got some lunch. And then we went and got ice cream, which I do think I have a picture of my ice cream. So at least there's something, there's evidence. I'm really bad at like taking pictures and videos. So I don't know why I think that I'm going to be capable of vlogging literally anything, but I try. And then yesterday on Memorial Day, I was just home hanging out, did some laundry because I needed to do some laundry to prepare for the weekend for Bar Harbor and what I want to pack and everything. So yeah, that was my very exciting weekend. I have done some reading though in between all of these things. I think I said on Friday, I don't know if I had started it yet at that point, but I have now officially started Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I think I'm a little over halfway. Yeah, I'm 55% of the way through, so I'm a little over halfway. I thought we could actually like talk about my thoughts on it at this point. So this book, you're following Alexis, who is a part of this family of like this like legendary family of doctors. They have been doctors at this specific hospital for like over 100 years. So there's a lot of pressure from her family to kind of uphold that tradition, and they put a lot of pressure on her, and they're really like disappointed that she's like an ER doctor instead of a surgeon. It's like, I would like actually punch her dad in the face if he was in front of me. But yeah, there's just a lot of expectations that her family has. She recently has broken up with her ex, who is a surgeon, and her family is like wanting her to kind of get back together with him, but he's very toxic. One night she ends up having some car trouble and meets this guy, Daniel, who's from this very small town. He's a carpenter, he runs a B&B, he's the mayor, he kind of has a lot of hats that he wears in this small town, and he lives a very different lifestyle and life than Alexis is really used to, and he's also like 10 years younger than her, so she's like, I don't know, is that gonna work? But he makes her really happy, and he's a lot like better for her, and he's basically just like what she deserves, and is showing her like how the life that she was living, like it doesn't need to be like that, but there's a lot of like pressure from her family, like I was saying, and her friends and all of that. So it's really sweet so far. The moments when she's in the small town with Daniel, I absolutely love. I think they're so cute. I love that this book is also like dual point of view. You get both Alexis and Daniel's perspectives, which I don't always think works for me with romances, but sometimes it does, because it is nice to sometimes see how they're both feeling in the certain situation, and then when eventually the third act conflict or breakup happens, you can understand where they're coming from. Sometimes though. Like the dual perspective makes that part more frustrating, but I think in this instance it's really working, and I think they're just both really sweet. They're very cute. They have really good banter. The like chemistry that they have is really great. That's where like my one tiny complaint comes from with this book, though, is that the author is doing a really good job of portraying the chemistry that they have. She is showing us that they really like mesh well and that they're a very cute couple, but they also like, they keep writing into it that the characters are thinking like, wow, we have such great chemistry. Wow, who would have thought we'd have such great chemistry? Oh, there's that chemistry. Like, it's just so good. And it's like, I get it. They have good chemistry. Like, I understand them acknowledging it and being surprised by it because they come from very different backgrounds and are very much in different points in their lives. And not only that, but there's also like a 9-year age gap between them. So they are very like different. So I get them being surprised by the fact that they like have this chemistry, but the fact that it keeps being said that they have great chemistry, it's like, I know, I see it. You don't need to tell me. But really, that's just like a very like nitpicky thing that I'm complaining about. Other than that, I'm really enjoying it, which is really nice considering like I have been feeling so slumpy, and like the fact that when I do feel like reading, I'm reading something that I'm enjoying. I think that's gonna be helpful in getting me out of this slump. And like at this point, it's feeling like it's gonna be higher than a 3 stars, which is also nice. I don't know if it's gonna be 5 star. It also, like, you know, the third act conflict is where sometimes things go a little south for me. But I've heard that like the third act like breakup conflict that happens in this book, a lot of people say it's like understandable and makes sense. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. But right now it's feeling like maybe like a 4.5. I'm really enjoying it. I definitely understand why this author is so popular. I also like, I feel like a lot of people compare this author to Emily Henry, and I get it. I feel like Emily Henry, though, like this is more Emily Henry if Emily Henry actually wrote romance. I feel like Emily Henry's books, they get like, what's the word I'm looking for? Advertised. That's the one. My brain just was doing the loading sign. They get marketed and advertised as romances, but they're really more like literary fiction or just like general fiction that happen to have a romance. Like I always feel like they tackle a lot more. And there are other things going on in this book, but I do feel like the romance is more so at the forefront than Emily Henry's. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I do get like, I feel like if you would like one, you might like the other. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a really good time with it. And like I was saying, I feel like it's nice to finally read a book and be enjoying it, because I feel like that really hasn't been happening. And this is also just a book that I've wanted to read for quite a while. So I'm happy to be reading it finally and also enjoying it after all this time of wanting to read it. So it's going well. I'm hoping to, like I said, finish it up tonight or tomorrow, and I can get one more book in my May wrap up. I can't believe we're at the end of May. Like, I feel like this happens every year, but I genuinely can't believe it. Like, we're almost to the halfway point of the year. Mid-year book tag videos are gonna start coming out soon. Like, that doesn't even make sense in my brain. Like, how has it happened? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna try and finish this, like I said, either tonight or tomorrow, and I'm really excited to see what I think. Right now, really enjoying it, and I really want to get out of this slump. Like, it's really hard to be motivated to have a YouTube channel where you talk about books and you read books, you review books, everything is books, and you're not wanting to read. I have kind of been feeling, I think, a bit discouraged recently, and like I think recently I've been also thinking like I kind of want to branch more into just like some other types of videos. Like I recently did that vlog of like the Taylor Swift concert, which is mostly like just videos from the actual concert and like a little bit of me vlogging, but it was just really fun to do something a little bit different. And I don't know, so it's something that I'm like thinking about, but I also think right now I'm just like not in a big reading mood, so I'm like, what can I do with this YouTube channel right now? But yeah, if there's any like videos you want to see from me, whether it's like not relating to books or books, anything kind of you'd want to see, I would love to hear any ideas or anything you want to specifically see. I am actually watching a video right now of these girls, and you probably, if you are a Taylor Swift fan, you've probably seen their channel, even if you haven't watched. It's called, I think, Chats and Reacts, and the video I'm watching is them like doing the song sorter thing where you choose between 2 songs and it gives you a ranking of all of Taylor Swift's songs, and they're doing a whole video talking about it. And I think it would be kind of fun to do that, even though the last time I did a Taylor Swift tier ranking I kept getting bullied in the comments. Not really, but people get very defensive of songs, and I understand because I'm the same way. But that was also kind of like a traumatizing situation. Like, I don't know if I want to put myself on the internet giving my opinions on Taylor Swift songs, because it was not fun. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of want to do that. So let me know if that's something you want to see. It would probably be a very long video. But yeah, I would love to know if there's anything, whether it's not bookish or bookish related, any videos you'd like to see from me. But now I'm babbling, so I'm gonna go. My voice is starting to like slowly disappear. I don't know what's happening. I don't know when my voice is gonna get back to normal, but it's all Taylor and Louis' fault. Okay, that was disgusting. There was just a spider crawling on my wall where little Sam is just trying to sleep. He's crawling towards him. I saved his life. He doesn't even know. Just slept right through it. And now I feel like I'm gonna vomit because I just killed a spider. Anyway, hey. So I just got done filming my April wrap up. It's April 31st. So normally I wait till the end of the month to film my wrap up just in case I finish something on the last day. I don't think I'll be doing that. I did start a new book last night. Started an audiobook, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I wanted to talk about Part of Your World first. I did finish that yesterday and I ended up really enjoying it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I think the only reason why I didn't give it that full 5 stars is like I was saying with the chemistry thing being repeated a lot. I feel like there were a few times with the writing that things would just kind of get repetitive. Like there were a couple moments with the dialogue too where they'd say something and then one of them would say something else and then they would just kind of repeat what they just said, and it's like, yeah, you just said that. And also there were times with the writing too where not often, I feel like sometimes I find romance, I kind of sometimes have to just look past the moments that I find a little cringe. You know, sometimes it happens, and I think also like that's why there's so many different types of romance books and authors out there, is because what some person might find cringy, another will not. And I think for the most part, this book for me personally was really well done, very cute. The characters and the romance, it felt very natural. It didn't feel cringy or cheesy or anything. I thought it was really well done. There were just a couple of moments where it would get a little like cringy, cheesy kind of, where she would like, this was the example I gave in my wrap up where she was talking to him because she's a doctor. She was talking to him about how like a guy died because he drowned, and she was saying like, it's really sad when that happens, like with drowning, because unless someone is there to save you, like it's very quiet. So like no one will know. And instead of like, I don't know, I feel like that's a moment where you're like sympathetic towards her, but instead Daniel was like, I would save you from drowning. And I'm just like, okay, like sweet, like I would love for my mans to save me from drowning, right? Like, of course that's what we want. But I just feel like, is that the response when you hear something like that? I don't know. Like, obviously that's a sweet sentiment. Like, again, I understand like when he would say those things, like he was trying to like reassure her, like that he was there for her and that he would help her and that she wouldn't be in those situations and blah, blah, blah. But it was just like, I don't know, those were kind of moments where I was like, oh, okay, Daniel, I don't know if that's a time or place. Sweet. But so yeah, there were just a few things with the writing where I was just like not loving it, but I, for the most part, did enjoy the way it was written, and I really liked the characters. The third act conflict, I understand why people say it's frustrating, but it makes sense because that is the perfect way to describe it. It is kind of frustrating, but I also understand why it happens, and I think it makes a lot of sense for where these characters are at. And you know, a big part of this book is them discussing how different they are, and I think it makes sense that that kind of plays a role in the conflict. I really understand where that came from, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And I love the way everything kind of concluded. I loved Alexis standing up for herself at the end of this book, or by the end of this book. I don't know, there was just a lot of really great moments at the end of the book, and I really enjoyed it. And also something that I found out reading the like about the author page at the end of the book, Abby Jimenez runs a bakery, like a cupcake shop thing, and she mentions it in the book. It's called Nadia Cakes, I think. And so she has the characters like go there, which is just so fun, and also like promo queen, as you should. But I think that that's such a cool, like she really runs that, like that was really her, that's a thing that she created. And she was on the Food Network, and she was on Cupcake Wars, and she won. And I think that is so neat. I have probably seen the episode with Abby Jimenez on it, because oddly enough, I used to watch Cupcake Wars like more than probably the average like 14-year-old. I feel like the Food Network channel is just one of those channels that's just like on in the background in this house kind of a lot, but no one's really paying attention that much. Or if we're having like a lazy Sunday just hanging on the couch, it could be on. I feel like I've seen a good amount of Cupcake Wars, which is just so weird, but love it though. And I probably saw the episode where she was on and she won, so that is so cool and such a fun fact. And I love that she included it in the book and had her characters go. I wonder if that's something that she's included in any of her other books. So yeah, there's your fun fact in case you didn't know that about Abby Jimenez. She is a cupcake queen. And now I want cupcakes. Like, it made me want cupcakes. Anyway, loved Part of Your World though. And I'm really excited to read Yours Truly, which is not only her newest book, but I found out is like connected to Part of Your World. One of Alexis, her friends, it's like she's the main character. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I went to mark Part of Your World as currently reading on Goodreads, and it said it was a part of a series. And I was like, what do you mean? Yours Truly is a companion. Didn't know that. So I'm excited to pick that up. I definitely think I'm going to be checking out more Abby Jimenez books. I know, like, I feel like some of her backlisted titles, like before Part of Your World, I know some of those are hit or miss for people. So I'll have to see what people think of some of those. But I've heard obviously great things about Part of Your World, and I agree. And yours truly is getting so many like 4 and 5 star reviews. So I think I'm probably going to enjoy that one as well. But yeah, Part of Your World, 4.5 stars. Really enjoyed it. And I'm hoping that this will just help me get out of my reading slump. I was really enjoying it when I would pick it up. It took me a minute to like get motivated to pick up my Kindle and read, but I think it's just because I was feeling slumpy, not the book's fault. Because when I was actually reading, I was really enjoying it. Again, wasn't really like, sometimes even on my Kindle, I'm checking like the percentage or like my progress in the book a lot. And I wasn't really doing that with this book. I was just kind of like reading it and enjoying it. So yeah, hopefully I'm climbing my way out of this reading slump. And I'm hoping that my next read, or what I'm currently listening to, will also continue on with helping me get out of it. I'm listening to Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, which is very exciting. There was kind of a long wait on Libby for both the audiobook and the ebook, but then I checked Scribd and they had the audiobook. So that's how I'm listening to it. I have a free trial of Scribd right now, but there are a lot of things on Scribd that they are not on any of my library apps. I don't really have access to unless I wanted to buy them. So I'm like, do I keep my Scribd subscription after my free trial ends? I don't know. But also, I do have a link that you can sign up for Scribd with if you want to help me out. I think I get a month free, and if you sign up, you get 2 months free. So just saying, that's linked below. But yeah, Yellowface. Just started it last night. I think I only read like the first 3 or 4 chapters, and you're following this character. Shoot, I don't remember the name. June is her name. Okay, so we have June and Athena, who are both authors, and they debuted, I think, the same year, but Athena has kind of had a lot of success with her debut and her books, and she's getting like, you know, adaptations and just like basically like if you're an author, what you dream of happening, and June hasn't necessarily had that success. But then June ends up witnessing Athena's like death in this like freak accident, and June ends up stealing and taking like the first draft of Athena's next book. Eventually she kind of like reworks it a little bit and makes it her own, kind of, but she mostly steals from Athena and begins to go on the journey of publishing it as her own. That's really all I've read so far, and that's kind of all that's in the description. So that's kind of all I want to know. And so far it's very interesting. June is a character. Like, I can understand being an author and seeing another author have a lot of success when you don't, and feeling like jealous, I guess. But like stealing a manuscript and taking it as your own is like a next level thing. It's definitely intriguing, and I'm definitely interested to see where it goes from here, and like what exactly June is gonna do with this manuscript, and like, is she ever gonna say where it came from or not? Is she just gonna always take credit for it? Like, I'm so interested to see where it goes. And there was even like a chapter where she's like talking about like, okay, I know what you're thinking, like, how dare I take this manuscript and like make it in my own and try and get it published as my own thing. And just like hearing her try to like justify why she's doing it, it's like, it almost makes it feel like you could understand where someone would actually like get that idea. Like, you could see this actually happening in real life, and it's so crazy. So I'm excited to see where it goes. She's something else. So yeah, my plan is to finish that up. I think I might also be starting Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies soon. I think me and Therese are going to buddy read that, so I'm excited to pick that up. But in the meantime, I don't know what I'm going to physically read, so I will be checking in once I decide on that. But Yellowface is what I'm listening to, and so far it's really good so far. Very intriguing, and excited to see where it goes. it going? I, once again, have not updated this vlog in a while. We've gone to Bar Harbor. I've done lots of reading. We have things from Bar Harbor to haul. So we got a lot to chat about before I wrap up this vlog. So yeah, we went to Bar Harbor this weekend. It's now Tuesday, and I don't really think I filmed a lot the whole weekend. I know I filmed when we were inside the Acadia National Park. I think I filmed at like the top of Cadillac Mountain and at Sand Beach, but other than that, I don't really think I filmed a whole lot this weekend. I did take some pictures, so I will either probably have already inserted them or insert them as we chat. But yeah, it was a really, really nice weekend. Obviously, like, it was quite rainy and cold a lot of the weekend, but we actually timed it well on Saturday. Like, when we were out and about at the national park, it wasn't raining until we were like in the car and like on our way to get lunch. So it actually worked out really well on Saturday. It was kind of raining most of the time when we were walking around on Sunday in like all of the shops, but we were inside the shop, so it really didn't matter. Obviously, like, the weather being nicer would have been ideal, so we'll just have to go back and hopefully time it better, but it was still really, really fun. I definitely want to go back, and like I said, I do have some things that I purchased and things that we got, so I thought we could do a little bit of a haul moment. I do have this Acadia sweatshirt that is very, very cozy. It's a Champion sweatshirt, so it's like relatively high quality. It was kind of pricey, but kind of everything that you could buy there was going to be more pricey anyway, so I was like, I might as well buy something that I know is going to be like good quality and hold up. And it's so soft. Trust me, I looked at so many sweatshirts when we were there. This was literally the first one that I saw and like touched and was like, wow, this is really soft. I really like this. That was Saturday, and then we went shopping all day Sunday, and we went back to the same store and I got this sweatshirt. So I should have just went with my gut and got it the first time around, because it was definitely like the most coziest sweatshirt. It's super soft, super cozy. I love a cozy sweatshirt, so I'm very happy with the purchase. So I'm not mad that I spent kind of a lot on it, because I live for the cozies. It's what I do. It's what I live for. So yes, I got this cozy sweatshirt, and then we did go in a bookstore, which was really like overwhelming to me. I probably could have spent so long in there. It wasn't like the store kind of went beyond, like there was a little bookstore shop area, and then there was a little bit more books like for like middle grade younger readers, and then there was like a gift shop kind of on the other side. I could have spent so long just in the little bookstore area, and I did. I kind of feel bad because I think everyone was like waiting for me to be done, and I was still just like, ooh, look at all these books. So sorry to everyone, but also it was really, really cute. And of course I had to get something. I think I was like, I need to get something to like commemorate the trip, and also I spent so long in there and made everyone else spend so long in there that I had to buy something if I was going to force everyone to do that. So the book that I ended up getting was Nick and Charlie, which is a Heartstopper like novella, and I don't actually know. I know that someone made like a spreadsheet of like the timeline of all of like the Heartstopper graphic novels and then Alice Oseman's books that feature Nick and Charlie. So I'm gonna have to see when this takes place in the timeline, like if I should read it now or if I should read like Solitaire first, or what it is. If you've read this, let me know what I should do. But I figured, you know, something Alice Oseman, something to do with Nick and Charlie. I love these characters. I love the Heartstopper graphic novels. I feel like this is the type of thing that I would want to hold on to for a long time. So I figured this would be a good solid choice to pick on the trip. And I have a receipt that I can tape in, so I can always remember that I got this in Bar Harbor. And I also love these new like illustrated covers that Alice Oseman's been doing, because on this side it's like the daytime version and then there's the nighttime version on the back, and I just love her like illustration style. I love that all of their books now are like coming out in this style, which makes me just want to collect all of their books. So good marketing moment. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. I feel like I haven't done a 24-hour readathon in a really long time, so maybe I'll do one soon and pick this up during that 24-hour readathon. We'll see. So yeah, I got this. This was the only book that I got because I was just like overwhelmed in that bookstore. There were so many things that I wanted, but I didn't know what to do, and I was just like enjoying browsing and looking in the bookstore. But I knew I needed to buy something because I made everyone wait for me for so long. So I knew I had to buy something, so I got that. And then my mom actually got me a couple of things. She kind of throughout the weekend kept buying everyone things and like surprising them with them. So these were the things that she got me. She got me this journal. This came from the bookstore that we were in, and it's really, really pretty. It has this really like cute, whimsical, fairy tale-esque like bookshelf kind of vibe, and it's just a journal. So it has a little magnet opening there, and then it's just lined pages. So I don't know what I'm going to use it for, because I've had like the same journal that I've written like my thoughts in since like 2016, and I think I'm only like halfway through that journal, so maybe I'll save this for once that one is filled up. I really should journal more in that sense, but Anyway, I have this now, and it's really, really pretty. And there's lots of like little tiny details. Like I was just looking at it for a while when I first opened it, just trying to find all of the little like images and everything. So this is really pretty. And then she got me a mug, which I need to wash so I can actually start using it. But she got me this like green, like marbly looking mug, and it has a moose and another moose, and it has, oh, I don't think I noticed that until right now, the little leaves at the top. It's very Maine. I like it a lot. It's very cute. There was another mug that kind of was a similar like greenish marbly style that I was looking at like all weekend, and this was very similar. So I really, really like this, and I'm very excited to use it. It's quite a large mug. I bet this will be great for hot chocolate. You know? But yeah, need to watch this so I can actually start using it. But yeah, those were all of my souvenirs from the weekend. And then also the bag itself. So that's nice. It's nice to get like a reusable bag that I was able to just put anything that I bought in there. Now I can reuse it in the future. So yeah, that's everything I bought from Bar Harbor. It was a really, really nice trip. Really, really fun. We ended up going to this antique store also on the way home, and that was a really cool store. We were in there for literally 2 hours. And by the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go because my feet hurt, but it was really cool. There were a lot of like nooks and crannies. Like it was one of those buildings that like from the outside, it looked big, but once you were inside, it was like, oh, this is huge. It had like 3 levels. There were so many rooms. Like you would kind of walk into one area and it's like, oh, there's another doorway. You'd walk in there. Oh, there's another doorway. Like it just kind of kept going, which is why we ended up spending 2 hours in there, because we just kind of got lost in everything. And I didn't end up getting anything in there, but it was still really cool to look around. They had a lot of old books. So of course I was spending a lot of time looking at that. And we ended up finding Breaking Dawn in the classic literature section. So that's how that went. So yeah, Bar Harbor was really, really fun, really great. I'm sorry I didn't film more than what I did. I was just kind of like more present and just trying to hang out with my family and just be like there. So I wasn't really remembering to film a lot, which classic. I feel like I do that every time I vlog. So yeah, Bar Harbor was great, but now we can chat about some reading updates. I have finished one thing and I've started so many other books. I think my reading slump is finally like going away, so that's very exciting. I did end up finishing Yellowface a couple days ago. I think I finished this the day before we left for Bar Harbor, and I just didn't have time between like packing and trying to get out the door on Friday to update you all, but I ended up really enjoying this. It's really interesting to see this kind of perspective on the publishing industry, because obviously you're reading it from June's perspective, and June is like the most obnoxious, annoying character I've ever read, but knowing that like R.F. Kuang is also the author, and like she has seen a lot of the inside of the publishing industry and she knows a lot with what's going on like behind the scenes, it was really interesting to read it from that perspective. And like the relationship between Athena and June was so interesting to read about. I feel like that was like my favorite aspect of this book, is like when we would get pieces of their like history, or you'd see kind of things that they had done together or did to each other, or like how they thought about one another. And I just like, it was such like a messed up friendship, and if you can even call it a friendship, like it was just such an interesting dynamic between the two of them, and that was definitely like my favorite part to like read about. And also I think that this book gets categorized as like a contemporary thriller, which I did not know until I was like reading the book, and it does get to a point where I'm like, what is happening and where's this going? Like the end of this book kind of takes a bit of a turn, and it's like, why? Like I did not anticipate this happening. So it was really interesting. It was kind of one of those books that like I found it hard to put down, and I was listening to the audiobook, so I was just like finding reasons and things to do so that I could listen to my audiobook. Yeah, it was very engaging, very interesting. Like I've said many times, it just, I don't know, it provided a very interesting perspective on the publishing industry and kind of called out the problematic aspects of it and the racism that is going on and the lack of awareness. And also June as a character was so annoying to read about, but it was so interesting, the like entitlement that she had. The way R.F. Kuang wrote this book, at first I was like, I don't know what's going on with the writing style, because there would be certain lines and certain moments where I was like, this is really not good, or this is really cringy. But I saw people discussing this on Twitter, and I don't remember who said this, so I'm so sorry, but people were talking about it on Twitter, and they were saying like the choices that R.F. Kuang made with the writing, the stylistic choices, it is a direct reflection of June's like writing. Like it's June's voice that's telling this story, so the writing being like not always the best or kind of cringy. Like it wasn't like it was bad writing, because it's still R.F. Kuang, but there would be moments where it was like kind of cringy or just like weird, or just, I don't know, there'd be a couple lines where I was just like, what is this? And to know that that was like supposed to be a reflection of June's writing was so wild because June, like the whole reason this book happens is because June feels like she is entitled to the success that Athena has. She doesn't understand why Athena is so much more successful than she was. Her debut didn't do as well as Athena's, and she just feels like she is entitled to this success. It's what she deserves. And then to know that like she's kind of just like a mediocre writer, and that's why she has had the success that she's had before Athena's manuscript that she stole and having that be published by herself, like it was really interesting to read it from that perspective and just know like, no, the reason you're not doing as well as you think is because maybe you're not as good of a writer as you think you are. I don't know. I thought that that was really, really cool. And like once I learned that that was like, or at least I think that's what R of Kwong was trying to do, I was like, oh, okay. The writing choices make more sense. So yeah, I gave this, what did I give this? I gave this 4 stars. I think there were a couple of things that I was just like not super obsessed with. Obviously, like we know as readers, June, not the character you're rooting for, not a great person. I feel like the kind of commentary that R.F. Kuang's trying to make and the way that R.F. Kuang felt about June and felt about people like June in the industry and like the people that like support June and like don't hold her accountable, like kind of making that commentary and discussing that, like it was very clear how R.F. Kuang felt and how we as readers were supposed to feel about that, but I feel like it just got a bit like heavy-handed. I feel like R.F. Kuang was like, there's no like nuance, there's no discussion to be had, there's no place for the readers to really like reflect on anything because she's like, no, like June is this way and here's how you're supposed to think. And it was just very like heavy-handed at times. And I wish there was a little bit less of that, I guess. I don't know. I wish that it was a bit more like subtle, a little bit more space for you to like really reflect on June's actions, even though like there's no redeeming of June. Like I didn't want a redemption arc for her at all. And I don't think that people should read this book and be like, you know, June maybe made some points. Like that is not at all what we should be doing. And I think it makes sense that R.F. Kuang wanted it to be like clear that June was not a character you should be supporting or redeeming in any way. So if it was intentional that she wrote it that way to make it like really clear, I get that. I think I just wish it was a little bit less like in your face, like over the top, June is a bad person. Like I don't know. It was just a bit heavy-handed, especially at the end. It was just very, very like over the top, hitting you in the head with what she wanted you to think. And I don't know, I didn't necessarily love that, even though I agree with R.F. Kuang and what she was trying to say and the commentary she was making. I just wish it was a little more subtle, I suppose. I don't know if that made any sense. I hope you know what I'm trying to say. I also feel like there was a big part of like the middle portion of this book where there was a focus on like online Twitter discourse. June and like her book and her writing this book, she's kind of being called out. A part of it was kind of cool to read just because like as someone who is a part of the book community online and has like seen this discourse happen with other authors and with a bunch of things online, like there's discourse happening on book Twitter every other day. Like I've witnessed it a lot. So it was interesting to read it in that way because obviously like we were getting not only June's perspective on this as the fictional character that we're reading from, but also R.F. Kuang's as well. I feel like it was hard to separate like R.F. Kuang and like the commentary that was happening because you know R.F. Kuang is like very involved in the publishing industry, obviously. But yeah, it was kind of funny to read about like online discourse and like YouTubers making videos about June and her book and the discourse and seeing people like make threads on her and all of this stuff. I was like, wow, this is like exactly what happens. And so it was kind of funny in that way, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't need to read this much about online Twitter discourse. Like I feel like that part just took up a little bit too much time. I think also just because I was way more interested in June, like her relationship with Athena and that whole thing, that I was like the Twitter discourse, I was like, okay, that's funny and like interesting to an extent, but it also just I think went on a little bit too long for me. It was just a little bit too much of the book, but it was still an interesting part of the book. I feel like I've said interesting so many times. I am so sorry. But yeah, again, like I was saying, like as someone who is a part of the online book community, it was weird to read it from that perspective. And obviously like there are authors like June that exist, maybe not people who steal people's manuscripts. I'm sure that does happen, maybe, but just like the entitlement and the way June thinks about this discourse and the way she feels like attacked and how she handles it and how like the publishers handle her being called out and that discourse, like it was very interesting. I'm saying interesting again, but I can't think of another word, so that's what we're just gonna keep saying. It was very interesting to read it like and read about that perspective and see like, oh, like I wonder if that's really how things are going behind the scenes. I'm sure it is. So I liked it, but then another part of me was like, this is too much of my reality that I don't want to read about it for this long, you know? But overall, I did really like it. Like I said, the June and Athena like relationship and seeing that dynamic and seeing kind of how they viewed each other and how that played such a role, and how Athena like dying at the beginning of this book and how her death still plays such a role in June's perspective, and how like kind of Athena's ghost is like playing such a role in June's life and how she like continues to haunt her. And I found that that was really, really fascinating. I thought it was such a fascinating look on the publishing industry and all of the very problematic aspects to it. Yeah, I really enjoyed reading about it in that way. There was just a few things I was just not the biggest fan of, but I gave it 4 stars. Like I still really recommend this. Yeah, I'm very happy I read it because this came out like kind of recently. So imagine that, I'm reading a new release around the time that it released. So then after Yellowface, I did start, like I said, a few different things. I started reading Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia, or is it Paedia? Because it's an A, then an E. I don't know. Encyclopedia of Fairies. I started reading that, but I only read like the first couple of chapters, so I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts. And I'm going to be reading that for a secret themed vlog. So my thoughts will be coming in that vlog that will hopefully be coming out in like a month or so. And then I also started reading Ophelia After All by Raquel Marie. The book is over there and I don't feel like going to grab it. But again, I literally read a chapter of that last night, so don't have many thoughts, but I'm finally reading it. I've put that on so many TBRs and have yet to read it. So very happy that I'm finally starting that. Me and Darian are doing a little buddy read moment with that. So excited to keep going with that. And then I also started Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, which this one I am a little bit farther into. I'm 46% of the way through that book, so I have a little bit more to say. This is Christina Lauren's like second chance romance book. It's like childhood friends to lovers, and this is actually the first Christina Lauren book that I'm reading, which is really exciting because they're an author duo that I've wanted to read since before I was even reading romance. Like their romance books were some of the few that I was actually interested in before I was really into romance. So I'm happy to be finally reading something from them. This is, like I said, a childhood friends to lovers moment. You have Macy and Elliot, and Macy and her dad buy this, I think it's like a beach house or a lake house. I can't remember. Is it even a waterfront house? I think it is. I think it's a beach house. But Macy and her dad start going to this beach house when she's like 13 years old during like the summers and on the weekends after her mom has passed. And that was just like a way for her dad to like kind of help them through that loss and to do something enjoyable. And when they get there, they meet the neighbors, and it's this big family, and one of the sons is Elliot. And Macy and Elliot become like really good friends. They read together. They get along really well. And they're kind of just like, their friendship is very different from their other friendships. They're just super, super close. So this book is kind of doing flashbacks between them meeting and growing up and being friends in their teenage years to also the current day that we get as well 11 years later, and you find out that they haven't spoken in those 11 years. Something very clearly happened when they were younger that has caused them to not talk in 11 years, and then they end up like seeing each other for the first time in the current day and are trying to kind of handle those feelings that are still there from their childhood, but like we don't really know exactly what happened that caused them to not talk when they were younger. It's very like reminiscent of Every Summer After, and I know this book came before Every Summer After, so it kind of makes me wonder how Every Summer After was able to be published. And I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm not trying to accuse the author of anything, but they are very similar books. Very interesting. We're gonna have to see, like, as we continue into Love in Other Words, how similar they continue to be, but they're definitely very similar. And so far I am liking this one more than Every Summer After. I really didn't like Every Summer After that much, and I think this one is doing a better job at balancing the current day chapters and the flashback chapters. They feel a bit more balanced, and I feel like there's more of a connection between the characters in both timelines. Like with Every Summer After, I felt so disconnected from the characters when they were adults versus kids. Like they didn't feel like the same people, whereas this, Macy when she's younger and Macy as an adult, they feel the same, and Elliot as a kid and Elliot as an adult feel the same. So I'm definitely liking that more. I'm liking the kind of dual timelines more. I think it's balanced a bit better, and yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm enjoying it, but I'm definitely like skeptical of where this is gonna go because people keep saying that this is so similar to Every Summer After. I'm like, is the conflict gonna be similar? Because I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it, because I really didn't like the conflict in Every Summer After. It's just one of those things I really just don't enjoy reading about in romance books, and I also feel like not only that, but it was just like handled really poorly in that book, and I didn't really like how it kind of fell apart and like the aftermath of that situation. Like I just didn't really like how that was handled. So if it's the same in this book, we're gonna have to see. But I don't know, I'm a little nervous. But so far, I'm liking it. It's cute. I love the childhood friends to lovers moment. The reason I'm reading this though is because I keep saying I don't like second chance romance, and I really liked Happy Place by Emily Henry. Obviously, it's my favorite book of the year so far, and that was a second chance romance. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it again one more time. And this one, like, everyone loves this book, so I'm gonna try it and see if maybe I am a second chance romance fan. It just depends on what it is. I don't know. So I'm giving this a try. So far I'm liking it. I think it's cute, but I'm skeptical about where it's gonna go. But yeah, I'm about like halfway through, so I'm almost done with it, and I know it's a bit anticlimactic for me to end the vlog before I finish it, but I'll definitely talk about it in a wrap up, and if I do any other vlogs throughout the month, I will talk about like my final thoughts on it then as well, just to let you know how I was feeling about it in the end. But so far I'm liking it, but like I said, I'm hesitant because I'm a little nervous about what this conflict is going to be. And I am liking it more than Every Summer After, which is also good, because when people continue to compare the two, I was hesitant to get into this because I really didn't like Every Summer After, but I'm definitely liking this one more. But yeah, I think that's everything. I know I've been babbling for a very, very long time at the end of this vlog, but Bar Harbor, all of the reads and the things I'm currently reading, we had a lot to catch up on. But yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, we did get Speak Now Vault track titles, which was very exciting. They got leaked, so she wasn't able to do the fun puzzle thing this time around, which is a little sad, but we know what they are, and I'm so excited. Haley Williams and Fall Out Boy being featured on 2 songs, kind of iconic. I'm so excited. And the song, When Emma Falls in Love, I already know I'm gonna be obsessed with that song. I don't know, something about it gives me great vibes, so I'm very excited to hear them. We're like a month away from Speak Now Taylor's version, which is very exciting. So yeah, anyway, okay. I need to shut her down. We need to shut up. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I feel like this vlog extended a really long time, but I feel like I didn't vlog a lot, so I feel like this vlog is still gonna end up being very long, so I'm so sorry, and I'm so sorry this last clip was very, very chatty, but I just wanted to catch you all up on the Bar Harbor memes, the things I bought, all the books I was reading, and I'd love to know what you're currently reading, what you've been reading at the beginning of June. Also, happy Pride Month. I haven't said that yet in this vlog, I don't think. Happy Pride. Yeah, okay, I need to shut up. Like I said, I need to end this vlog, so let me know down below what you've been reading. If you've read any of the books I read or am currently reading in this vlog, I'd love to chat about them down below, but that is going to be it for this vlog. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.